Welcome to another episode of I Am Mogul. I'm Vanessa Sanyauke and this is Dean Quinton, and today we are joined by the brilliant and incredible Florence Adepoju, who is the founder of MDM Flow. Florence, welcome to Girls Talk.
Hello,
to I Am
darling.
Mogul.
How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you for being with us. So let's get stuck in. So let's go back to your childhood.
Yeah.
So tell us more about what it was like growing up. Did you always want to be an entrepreneur? What was your kind of dream job as a girl?
I don't think I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think I had entrepreneurial traits, but it was more kind of centered around like being successful or accomplishing something, but still within more like traditional roles, because a lot of the people I looked up to in my family were like pharmacists, accountants, doctors. So it was more kind of like, okay, whatever I do, I want to be like the best at it, and I want to be successful, as opposed to I want to run my own business, if that makes sense.
Because you studied BSc in cosmetic science,
Yeah.
didn't you, at London College of Fashion,
Yeah.
in order to create your brand. But
Yeah.
did you feel like you had to study there to create your brand first?
So I think whilst I was working in retail, I kind of had all these ideas around how I could impact the industry and the types of things I could make. And I think anyone who's worked in a retail environment always thinks, if this was my handbag, I would do this, or I would change this. And that's the thought process you have. And I think I went a step further of, okay, what are the things I need to do to give me the key skills to be able to change this lipstick or this foundation or whatever. So I was on YouTube, I saw a video of students from London College of Fashion formulating a foundation, and that was like my eureka moment of, okay, I want to know what they know, because that's going to give me the skills that I need.
Yeah. So let's now talk about your career and you obviously being a mogul.
Okay.
Tell us more about MDM Flow and your products.
Okay. So MDM Flow, my precious little
MDM
baby.
Flow.
So yeah, in my final year, I actually wanted to do my final year at a university in France, which was an option on the course, and we were told that they've got amazing colour labs. So I started thinking, okay, I'm going to work at something in the makeup area so that I can go to France, and in the end I didn't get chosen to go to France, which worked out great for me anyway.
But, don't need France.
So I decided to do lipsticks, because at the time I was working at Space NK, and just would have a lot of customers come in asking for like really like unusual colours, like blues or blacks, or like really bold tones, or the colours didn't work on their skin tone. And I thought, okay, I know like I have this key skills to kind of like create this product. So yeah, I started working on it as my dissertation and final year project, and then halfway through, not even halfway through, a couple of months into my final year, I decided I'm going to make this a business, and I started formulating my little collection of lipsticks.
There you go. And so why did you want MDM Flow to focus on creating lipsticks to complement women of colour? And have you had any backlash from doing that?
I think obviously initially the brand was a very personal thing. So it was a lot like, even from when I was in college, like just this personal frustration of, I'm representing these brands and there's not even a product for me.
Yeah.
And being a woman of colour myself, I have loads of black women or Asian women coming up to me and saying, oh, okay, cool, you work here, what can I use? And then I'm like, oh, you've got to go to MAC, or you've got to go here.
Which is quite embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The brand that I represent doesn't cater to you, womp kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, to me, it was an obvious gap. And, and not just to me, I'm sure like a lot of like women in the beauty industry like
have seen that.
or women of colour
But
have
you just
seen
acted
this
on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I read somewhere, so if I'm correct, you started MDM Flow in your parents' garden shed.
Oh, yeah.
Which is amazing.
I know,
Which is amazing.
so awesome.
The shed lab is
Thanks,
still
Mum and
active.
Dad.
It's still active. Like I stopped working in the lab for a little while since when I got my first round of investment and scaled up my manufacturing. But actually what I found was I did have a massive call from my customers to start working on new products. And then I was like, okay, well, it's here, it works. I'm just going to go back in.
Who doesn't love a shed?
Yeah.
They're so multi-purpose.
I know. And I mean, what was it like? Because so you started that, and it's sort of like, you're in your shed, your lab, building this business from the ground up. Talk to us about that experience. How did you build it in that environment, how did you motivate yourself and grow it?
Well, one thing, my brothers always correct me. Apparently, it's not a shed, it's a cabin because it's massive.
Oh, okay, I see.
So they're like, stop calling it a shed. But I think
No, but shed's more inspiring.
Exactly.
I feel.
I think like the Daily Mail
cabin
went with like the shed headline, and then
I
it just became,
see.
and it is a shed.
Yeah.
Like, who has a cabin in the UK?
Yeah, in Essex.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's pretty much, it's a large shed with electricity and all the works kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at that time, it's so funny. I had so much like tunnel vision when I first started.
Yeah.
So it just made sense that I've worked on this project at university. My uni's not letting me have any more lab time, so I'm just going to create my own lab. The space that is available to me is the shed. So I'm just going to build it there. And at the time, and like I applied for funding, I got a £10,000 loan from my university that gave me the money to get the equipment and the stuff that I needed. And I just remember that period from working on my dissertation to like there's a couple of months before graduation and it was just all fixed around me like creating this product and like ordering the packaging and I just was just really like this is what I want to do and I did all the things that I needed to do.
Some of the biggest barriers for a lot of people when they've got an idea is money.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to do, unfortunately, the way the world works,
Money makes it turn,
exactly.
baby.
You
Money
need
makes it turn.
money to pay your bills, etc., and for your materials. So how did you get investment? What kind of investment have you had in each stage of your business?
So I obviously started off with the £10,000 loan, which is an investment, like is a loan that you have to pay back.
Okay, that's a good point.
Which I think a lot of people forget
about. There's a difference between grants and loans.
Exactly.
So it was a £10,000 loan.
It was a loan. It wasn't a grant. I probably should have got a grant. But that was what was available to me at the time, and that's a lesson that I always tell people: like, find out what else is out there. I'm sure if I had put as much effort into getting the loan as into grants that were available, I probably could have got a grant, but I will never know because that stage of my business is gone now.
Yes.
But,
it is what it is.
And when I got my investment, it was at a time, it was someone who I'd worked with in the industry, like a private angel investor, and it was just based on the traction that the brand was receiving, like through media and like getting into retail, which was really helpful. But then it was also at a time where like, I don't think my business would have died if I hadn't received it. And I think it's better to not be in such a desperate position when you are like raising finance, because then again, like you just have a little bit more freedom.
Amazingly, your products are in retailers like Harvey Nichols, Nasty Girl, all around the world.
Nasty Girl Vintage?
Yeah, I know, around the world. And that's a dream for some people.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through the steps? How do you get your products into those? Like a major store like Harvey Nichols.
So I've kind of, retailers hit me at two ends. So quite a few of the retailers I'm in have like contacted me. So with Nasty Girl, I think like they buy some of my products on Instagram. We're in Australia and their buyers saw us in Colette. But with Colette, actually, that was one of the retailers that I reached out to because I'm obsessed with them and their story. And they've just closed forever, which is really sad. But I sent the founder like a package just saying, hey, Sarah, like you're really inspiring. Check out my range. And literally like a few weeks later, their buyer reached out to me and was like, would love to stock you in our store, which was amazing. So,
thinking about the steps for someone that's watching, so they want to get into a big retailer like Harvey Nichols. So you're saying, what would be like the 3 things you would say, right, this is what you need to do to get, on their radar?
I would say like create a banging product. Not just a product that your mum and your sister and your best friend thinks is banging, but actually create an audience
Test
around
it out.
exactly. Create an audience and some hype and some excitement around the product and really get a lot of validation because retail is tough. And if you go into retail and you're not the right product or the right colour or not the right price point and you don't sell like just as quickly as you've gone in, you'll come straight out. And send samples. Send samples out.
That's a good shout.
Send samples
because a lot of businesses, a lot of companies don't do that.
They don't want to.
And
they don't want to
people
sell.
are scared. It's really funny because I speak to a lot of brands, and even if your product isn't there yet, like I remember sending like and reaching out to like buyers from Boots, like right in the early stages of my business, and them saying to me, you're not really there yet. You're a really small company, but do X, Y, Z, and you can just get a lot of feedback. And even like my business is still relatively small. We're bigger than we were, but we're still quite a small business. And even now, I'm always getting amazing feedback. But if you never put your stuff out there to get feedback from like buyers,
you need feedback though, don't you? Like it's key for what you do.
Exactly. The third one, press. Like reach out to journalists and get like a real like storm around whatever it is you're creating. I definitely had the most retailers reach out to me after I got featured in the New York Times, Teen Vogue, Daily Mail, and that was all around like 2015 when I had like a massive press kind of cycle. Just again about the like shared story and just people understanding the brand's conception. And I think, because a lot of brands do wine and dine journalists, I think smaller brands feel the pressure of like, oh, but I can't take, you know, them on Sanyauke. How literally, if there's someone whose column you really enjoy reading, go have a coffee with them.
I'm an entrepreneur, and it's so hard, and it's people always kind of glamorize being an entrepreneur. They think that we're swanning off, having coffees.
Like you just,
we're here in, like
Costa, you're having like a boozy lunch every weekend.
Exactly.
Like,
it's hard.
Yeah.
It really is
not
hard.
Like that, is it?
It's so hard. I mean, we're all kind of freelancers and creatives. It's hard. What have been some of the challenges you faced as an entrepreneur?
Okay. Like my number one challenge will always be like finances. Like,
We know.
You always have a million things you want to do, and you can never ever afford to do it. And you're always trying to do the most on literally a shoestring, especially at the beginning. And I think that's really tough. But I think one thing I've had to realize is that this is like the making of you, and that's how you actually create something of value, because you're really having to hone in on what you have and the most that you can do with it. But at the same time, I think like I've had to like kind of gain a financial education in the process. And like before, I'd want to get some money and then run off and do a wild and wonderful idea. Whereas now I'm actually like, okay, what is the return on investment?
That's the business. The business head is talking.
A good way to end. Thank
Positive
you
quotes.
so much. I know. Thank you so much. You've been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing your story with us
No,
and
it's
people
been so
that are
good.
watching.
It's been great. Thank you.